Hello, everyone. So I'm sitting here again.
Hello.
So we got some people, even though they had lunch, coffee, and it's wonderful time, so weather. So at least some of them came to listen to us, so I'm happy about that. So, Urška, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Are you
Thank you
nervous?
for inviting me.
Are you nervous?
Yes.
So you were here last year, and you pitched on stage like all these other guys did here. And so tell us, like, what happened since then? Sort of.
So since then, the biggest difference was that we actually launched our product at Shift conference. So we started to deliver right after that. And then we had some smaller victories after that and got accepted to Y Combinator.
Y Combinator, yeah.
Yes.
So.
And then, so we also built up our traction, have proven ourselves on foreign markets, so in the States in particular. And then we just successfully raised our first seed round just
last week.
Yeah. No, like a month ago, but we announced it a week ago.
Yeah, 4.5 million, yeah.
Exactly, thank you.
All right, so like you're part of Y Combinator, which is like one of the top accelerators in the world. So like what was it like? I mean, people like sign up 7 times to get into there and they don't get in, and you guys got in, so how was that like?
So actually we didn't even like sign up. We were invited to come. And so we were really skeptical towards accelerators, and I think we still are to some extent, but we see Y Combinator as an investor, and they are a great investor. They have built an amazing community of alumni and investors and partners and other founders who are kind of like a family and support you on your way. They have built this amazing network which you can connect to and get help, advice, direction.
So they pretty much helped you, like you signed deals with Best Buy, with Apple, to sell your product, and you got this follow-up round. Was that like all Y Combinator? I mean, of course, with you guys, but like, was it that they helped?
Yeah. So getting connections to, you really can get connections to wherever you need through them. It doesn't have to be retailers. It can be just other founders helping you with an advice through their experience or sharing their expertise and knowledge. So that's the added value they can give you, and it has proven as a successful pattern, and many times over, and we can say that it really works.
So you're from here, obviously. So like from our region. So how hard is it to like work and build your startup in the Valley, like being from here?
Yeah. So it's not easy. If it was easy, everyone would do it. It's very hard. You come to this foreign environment, and everybody else is native in everything you're not native in. So in language, in doing business, you're there with all these people from Stanford and Harvard, and you're just like this 24-year-old kid trying to do business. So I think, but exactly that was what has driven us harder, so that we were working, even harder just to prove ourselves. And I think we have succeeded in that. I think we have proven ourselves as a company and as a team, and I think people have recognized that.
So like, what were your biggest challenges? Was that like the moving there and competing with the other guys from the States, from Stanford and Harvard and all that, or like?
Yeah, I mean, that was a huge challenge. So it was a challenge to enter a foreign market where you didn't have any connections and compete to other people who have already built their network of connections and trying to, come through somehow. But I think that's where Y Combinator has proven most useful. So they have provided us with everything we were lacking, and we used it very well so that we managed to prove ourselves. But I think the biggest challenge we have actually experienced so far was recruiting talent. So yesterday, my co-founder Sandra and I had actually the hardest day of our life. So after a month and a half of really aggressive recruiting, we had our first general meeting with the whole team, and all of a sudden you have 20 people looking at you, expecting you to lead the company and give tasks. And of course, these are people who are one of the best talents from the region and have left steady jobs to come and work for you. So it's this huge amount of responsibility, and that's where the work really starts. I think the team is really important.
Okay, so you raised 4.5 million, which is a lot, and that's a seed round. It wasn't a Series A, and you have a lot of really cool investors. I mean, yeah, like Jessica Alba in there, and Michael Arrington, and who else? I can't remember. There's a huge list. So, like, how, like who else is in there, and how did you get to them, and like, how do you feel about all that?
So we have some of the most notable Silicon Valley and other US angel investors.
Conway as well, right?
Yeah, and as well Samin Dukac and Justin Ken, who are here today. Yeah. So we have investors who are, some of them are YC partners, some of them are angel investors from the Valley. We have really gone after people that we really want to work with. So we kind of it happened very kind of like, it was a very intense process, but we haven't been like pitching so much. I think the biggest part of it was that we really believe in our vision, we believe in our team, we believe in our company, and I think that shows because investors can smell fear. They can smell doubt.
Dogs.
And they don't like it. So unless you can prove them that you believe in yourself, you believe in your product, they're not going to be so interested in you. And I think having a hot startup is just like being a pretty girl. You know, you have to make yourself wanted. People want to be part of your story. They want to be, you know, driven by you just as much as you are. So we kind of went for yes or no answers, like nothing in between. We wanted passionate people who can bring value to our company and not just, you know, the investment, the money. And I think that's what they felt as well. That's why they liked it so much.
Cool, but you had so many investors. How did that work? I mean, did you say, okay, now I'm accepting investors and people call in, or did you knock on doors? Like, how long did it take? So you don't have one or two investors, you have like 20 or I don't know how many.
So actually, we were planning to raise a lot smaller round, and we managed to close that amount in just 2 days after Y Combinator demo day. And then it was pretty, I mean, the intensity there is so much higher. I mean, people are so much more proactive and they're not afraid of taking risks. So everything happens so much faster. I mean, you stop pitching, you come off the stage, and there's lunch break, and people are offering like checks and stuff.
Really?
So it's
free money. It's not free money, but
not
like
exactly free, but you know. Tempo there is so much more different than here, where investors are very traditional, they're very afraid of taking risks. The difference there in the Silicon Valley is also that there are great founders who are prepared to invest in other founders, which here in Europe we're a bit still unfortunately lacking. So it's a different energy and tempo. So after we have raised the amount we wanted, so we were, you know, good with the money.
People still wanted you.
Yeah, we just went after then people that we thought will be great to work with and will bring value to the company. And we were lucky that we could pick, like we could choose those people. But yeah, just like I said, I think we worked much more harder, fought much more harder for our employees while recruiting than with it for our investors, which I think it's good because you depend on your team and not, or you should depend on your team and not your investors so much.
Exactly. So you launched here last year, got into YC, raised all that money. So what's next? What are you guys doing now?
Yeah. So I think, yeah, it just continues from here. We're still, building the team. We're growing our company. We'll be launching a new generation of Bellabeat device. We'll be adding new products to Bellabeat company and brand. So I think the exciting part really starts now because we have the resources to, do it before we had to be careful and scrappy and,
Like the rest of us.
Sorry?
Like the rest of us.
Yeah, exactly. But I think that's also one of the advantages we had in the States because, there are people are a bit spoiled sometimes, they're used to having resources or access to resources. We're much more used to, people say no to us every day, all the time. And you have no money and you have to build something from nothing, basically. So I think we became much more aggressive because of that.
Awesome. And since we have 24 teams here that were same as you yesterday, but we have other startups here as well, what can you sort of advise them? Going through all that.
Yeah, I think the most important advice is when you wake up in the morning and it's so hard and you have no money, and if you still want to, be doing this, then that's the thing. And the other thing that I think it's very important is the people you surround yourself with. I think if you're not, or if you wouldn't be willing to marry those people, don't do it with them, because it's very hard. Yeah, startup is hard.
So you married every single one of your employees?
Oh, yeah.
All 22?
It's a lovely company. We love each other.
You all love each other. So that's very good advice. So marry all your employees. So,
or at least founders.
Or at least founders. So let's say, is there something that you would change if you had to go back to when you started or something?
Yeah, I think what we would change would be that we'd just focus on sales and growth from the beginning, because I think that's also in Silicon Valley, everybody's so focused on growth and sales and building traction and proving your case on the market. Whilst here, it's more, people are focusing too much on being an entrepreneur and living this lifestyle and building a startup. So I think, one day you wake up and you realize that, drawing canvas models or, that won't get the work done.
So just cut the bullshit and just go
yeah,
sell,
just
sell,
go
sell.
and just build and just do stuff and, just try to sell your thing somehow. So I think that we would do, sometimes we were, there were days or weeks we would just lose ourselves and think about our business model and stuff like that. Of course, those are things you should be thinking about, but mostly you should be thinking about proving your point and finding your market entry and building traction, because that's the only thing that unfortunately really matters at the end of the day.
So now you have sort of feeling that maybe you wasted the time back in the day, building all that. You should have just launched it back then.
I think, yeah, back in the day we were less efficient than we are now, and
there's 22 of you married.
Yeah, exactly. And now we're able to take our decisions much faster. We're not hesitant so much as we were before.
So even though you didn't have the money back then, you'd still go just build and.
Well, that's what we did to some extent, but then there were moments when we, it always happens. You doubt yourself, and you don't know how you're going to survive the next day. You don't know how you're going to pay all these people and stuff. But those are the moments when you have to be even more determined that you're going to sell it and you're going to do it. It's going to work somehow.
Awesome, very cool. So slowly, I'll just ask, does anyone have a question by any chance? Anyone? They're very quiet here. Like, no people like that. Oh, it's her again. I'll give it. You could have done it. Here, I'll do it.
So hi, Urška. My name
Hi.
is Anna from Netokracija, Slovenia. I have one practical question I have always wanted to ask you, but didn't have opportunity. So we have trouble in the media when we write about you. Are you a Croatian startup? Are you a Croatian Slovenian startup? Are you now American startup with Croatian and Slovenian founders?
I think I mean, it will sound rough, but it really doesn't matter. Nobody cares about Slovenia, Croatia, or where you're from. The only thing that really matters on the market is, are you performing, are you delivering, are you shipping, or are you not? My nationality is Slovenian. I'm from Ljubljana. My co-founder is Croatian. Our team is international. Location-wise, we are here and in the Silicon Valley. But those things, I think, are not very worth focusing on.
Thank you.
Yeah, but it's sort of a thing about pride, isn't it? So like when they write about you, well, you're from Split and live in Slovenia, aren't you? Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
You don't care. It's all the same for you if she's Slovenian or Croatian. But I think for other people, it's a thing of pride, right? So like everyone's, maybe when you started out, they didn't really care, but now you're like a totally hot story. Now the people in Slovenia, they're like, you're Slovenian, but the people in Croatia will say you're Croatian.
Of course, it's nice if people feel inspired by it, but and of course in the Balkans we all have great pride. But once you try to like transfer your pride in the States, like nobody cares.
Nobody cares, exactly.
Everybody's like, what? Where are you from? Everybody forgets the next second.
A lot of them don't even know where that is anyway.
Yeah, sometimes that's even, like your accent or something can be a disadvantage when you're competing to native speakers and people who have been on the market much longer.
But you still made it even though you have a little bit of an accent.
You still have to do it somehow. Just fix it or just go against it.
All right, so that's Urška, last year's winner, the international no nationality startup. So round of applause for her, please. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for being my guest.